This is Jared Tab with Jardum. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of our power distribution system. This is what we use for digital switching in all sorts of applications. Um, if you have any questions, throw them over in the chat and somebody will try to answer them as we go. But first, I'm going to kind of give you a quick overview of what we're talking about when we say power distribution system or digital switching. So digital switching replaces all your fuses and relays and rockers with solid state electronics that are more reliable because they have no moving parts. We're also going to reduce the number of wires that it takes to go set up a system. They use a 2-wire CAN bus communication, which means you can put keypads and the switching modules on the opposite ends of vehicles, and all you have to do is run 2 wires. So a typical system is what you'd see on the right, where you've got switches that have power coming into them. They've got grounds for the light. Then you have the wire that's going to a relay panel like we have below that is going to go turn the relay on. Each one of the relays is going to have an in and out side of it. And then you're going to have a separate box with a fuse for each one of those outputs. With a digital switching system, you use a CAN keypad, and so instead of having all those wires for 12 buttons, you just have 4 wires on the back. And then for our switching and fuses, we're going to use a power distribution module, which has all of the switching capability inside, and all of the fuses are done through software by just monitoring the current. So you have 1 fuse coming in and 12 outputs going out. A typical system we would do would have a display that serves as the controller of the system. It's also where you can set up your outputs and switch them on and off. And then you have plug and play keypads like we have here in the middle. You can add as many of those as you want, and you can have them spread throughout the vehicle. So you can have a display in the front, you can have 2 keypads in the back. You can do it however you want to configure it. And then over here on the left, we've got our power distribution module. So that's where all of the juice gets out to the vehicle, and you're going to have 12 outputs there. It's just 1 wire to add another output. You don't have to go in and add all new fuses, all new relays, all the switches, all the wiring associated with that, because you've already got the building components there. Then what we're releasing now and announcing right now is the power distribution system. So that's where we take those 3 components that we saw in the previous slide and we put them into a single panel. And all of the communication between the display, the keypad, and the PDM happens inside this panel. It simplifies your wiring even further, less mess to deal with, and should be a lot quicker to go install. This has all sorts of mounting options of ways you can bolt it onto your truck. So right now I'm going to switch over to a demo I've got of the actual panel itself. So sitting on my desk, I've got one of our panels. It's an aluminum panel with a 5-inch display and the 12 buttons down below. Can't really see it that well with the webcam, so what I'm going to do is I've got this connected to my computer. I'm going to do my demo here, but you'll see it reflected up on my screen as well. So what you see on the screen there is what I'm touching over here. I can hit a keypad button and turn outputs on and off. There's a little bit of a delay from when I touch over here and it shows up on the screen. So like on that heater, I've got it as a low, medium, high, and then I've got that fridge down there as just an off on. To set up a new output, you go into the menu, select your PDM. Here I'm going to go set up output 11, which is currently disabled. Go ahead and enable that. I'm going to add, let's call this a light bar. Oops. I'm going to go select an icon for it. Got an icon of a light bar right there. And then I can select the type. So our types are momentary latched H-bridge, which is used for reversible outputs like a winch or a tarp cover, something like that. Low, mid, high, like for a fan or heater. I can also have something always on. That's just like a fused output, like if you're wanting to provide 12 volts power to an auxiliary port or something like that, but still monitor the current. That's what you would pick. I'm just going to pick latch since this is a light bar. Then I'm going to go in and set my fuse setting. So this is in 2.5 amp increments up to 20 amps. Say it's a big light bar, and I'm going to set 15 amps. And then you could set the ramp. So if you know it's going to have a lot of inrush current when you first turn it on, you can set, I'm going to set this to 500 milliseconds, so half a second. That will allow it to power on without tripping the fuse. Then I'm going to show my indicator and save that. And now I've got my light bar on the screen that I can switch on and off. So normally with a lot of digital switching systems, you have to go and spend engineering time. Somebody's got to go write software if you want to go add an output. Here we're able to do it all through the menu, and then I can actually go into the menu and export those settings. So if I set up a truck the way I want it, and I know I'm going to build 100 just like it, I set it up in the display, I export it to a USB stick, then I come to the next display and I just import those settings. So it goes really fast. Digital switching will reduce your wiring required, so reduce your labor on installing a system. It has no moving parts, so it's very reliable and will last in the field for a long time. And then with our Jardum software, you're able to configure everything through the menus, so you don't need to worry about spending a lot of time on engineering or having those resources that are specialized to go set up your digital switching system. So I hope you enjoyed the demo. Please connect with us, and we'll try to go into in deeper depth about what all you can do with this, the customization options, the branding you can add to it, the colors.